Computer?
Hello, hello, hello. This is Corey Thompson from Above Board TV, Rose Gauntlet, Play to Z, blah, 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 blah.
And this is Stephen Bonacore, the Podfather of gaming. You are listening to Board Games Insider, episode 381. And we're recording this on August 6th, 2025. Board Games Insider, powered by Board Game Geek.
See,
Now,
you're just sounding more and more kind of
creepy.
old lich kind of thing. It's you need to power voice like me.
When I role play, I do all the voices.
I know.
I love doing voices. That doesn't mean I'm any good at them. I mean, it just means I have fun doing it. So, yeah, let me have my fun, you old
Absolutely. Go,
bastard,
go.
old Santa Claus looking creep.
That's me.
Corey, man, we just got back from Gen Con. Look, I have not recovered. I don't know about you. I haven't
No,
recovered
I
from it.
am so tired.
And I'm
Yeah.
And I'm so far behind on things. I mean, even like posting the episode we
Yep.
recorded last week, it's crazy. But well, before we go into Gen Con specifically, each of us, let's talk about what's happening. You're going to talk about your Gen Con, I'm sure.
I'm going to talk about it a little bit. I mean, it was absolutely an amazing show for me. I got back late Monday. So yesterday I just slept all day. I did absolutely nothing. Today's going to try to be my actual productive day. But I can't thank enough. This was my first year as one of the owners of Gen Con, and it was an incredible experience. It's going to sound dumb, but I'm really happy. Everybody treated me so nice and so welcoming. And you're going to say, like, of course they did because blah, blah, blah. This could have gone so many different ways. I could have had my butt kissed all day long. I could have been pushed aside, or I could have been sort of intimidating as a figure. But none of that happened. Everybody just was so good at what they did and made such a good show and was absolutely happy to see me there, tell me what they're doing, and invite me in to the whole process. It was amazing. I can't stress enough how good these people are at what they do.
Yeah, really.
Now, ownership does also have its perks. There were a number of really fancy parties meeting some absolutely incredible people. And some of them I'd like to say are becoming good friends. It seemed like I kept hanging out with Carol Rapp, who's been the head of Essenspiel since 2023. And we really hit it off. It was an absolute joy seeing Carol at this party and then that dinner and this thing. I really like Carol a lot.
She's
She's an
dull.
amazing,
Yeah.
amazing person.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I've known
This
Carol for a long time
yeah,
before she was in the position. Well, who is she?
right. She
But
has a
tell
whole
us who she
history with
is.
Asmodee and then a whole history with Cosmos and
Yep.
yeah, she's incredible. I
And
also
now,
got to spend a
and
lot of
now,
time.
what does she do now, Carol Rapp?
Yeah, she runs Essenspiel
She runs
and
the Spiel
Nuremberg.
and
Yeah,
Nuremberg. She is the president of Mers Verlag and oh gosh, what that which is a subsidiary
yeah.
of Spielwarenmesse. I cannot pronounce those German words. I
Spielberg.
apologize.
It's totally fine. Also got to hang out a lot with Luke Gygax, who of
Yeah,
course is
man.
the son of Gary Gygax.
Yeah, man.
Such a nice guy. Him and his wife, we spent a lot of time together, and it was just delightful. It was
Yeah.
so fun just hanging out and chatting. I got to meet some of the higher ups, presidents, vice presidents of big, big companies like ArcLight, Riot Games. It was absolutely incredible. A couple key things at the show. I know I'm going long, but I'm so excited about everything. I won an award.
Oh,
Uh-huh,
do I
uh-huh.
even know this?
I don't know if I don't
This.
know if you have ever won an award, but it's a very exciting thing. But Gaming Trend approached me, Gorilla approached me with a camera and presented me with a Best of Gen
Oh,
Con
yes,
award
you did
for
show me this.
Best New Owner. So, take
The
that.
best new owner of Gen Con. Okay. Could I say the best only new owners because you bought in, but nobody else did it at
No
this
comment.
moment. No comment on that.
And then finally, a friend of the show, Jordan, came up to me in the middle of the hall and just, I mean, there were so many people who were excited about Board Game Insider and so happy just to say hello and had such wonderful things to do. But Jordan remembered the episode where I talked about the best animals. Do you remember that?
Hmm.
And Jordan made me a 3D printed pangolin.
Oh, no kidding.
Because
Wow, that is
pangolin,
awesome. You got to see this, guys. You got to be watching on the Podfather Gaming YouTube channel. It's a
pangolins are,
pangolin.
of course, the best animals. They walk around on their hind feet and do goofy stuff. And I got this 3D printed, articulated pangolin, which is just the most amazing thing in the world. Thank you so much. So that's it was a whirlwind. I'm sure that next week I'll remember more things that happened at Gen Con, but right now I'm working off of no sleep and a voice that keeps trying to go out.
There you go. Excellent. So over here at the Podfather of Gaming, what's the first thing I gotta mention that I had some amazing meetings at Gen Con. Yeah, the guy who's not supposed to be working continues to do too much work. And one of them was with Office Dog, the Asmodee company that is publishing the game by Jeff Engelstein and Stephen Bonacore, coming out next Gen Con 2026. So it was great. They took us to lunch. They do this whenever we're together. So that's not the important part. But they started sharing with us some things. They gave me. I can't show it to you, but they gave me this poster which has some of the art from the game. It's like 5 foot long and a foot tall. It's this is really it's gonna be fun to try to frame that thing. But it was really cool. They've talked about
Yeah.
some of the marketing that they want to do. It could
Oh
involve
yeah.
cosplay for Jeff and I. We don't know this yet, but we they said whatever, you guys, if you guys can think of it, we will consider it. And I'm like, yes. don't don't threaten me with a good time. I
You would totally do
I'm
it.
go. I can't tell you about it yet, but the hype. They said the announcement for the game will now occur at Gamma 2026. So that's February of 2026. That's the
That's
first announcement,
incredible.
and then the hype cycle will happen a couple of months after that. And that's what they call it. That they call it the hype cycle. So for like
Yep.
4 months. Just after that, up to we'll have there's a pre-release at UKGE. Who knows? Maybe I'll go there. A pre-release at Origins, and then the actual release is in July, Gen Con release. Certainly there'll be signings and stuff. I've seen the rule book. It's in finals. There was a name change to the game due to some licensing things that it'll make a good story in the end. But we are on track. All the art looks amazing.
I
I'm really
absolutely
impressed.
love Office Dog. They're such incredible people.
Yeah,
Brianna Woodward over at Office Dog is absolutely amazing.
huge shout out to Brianna, to Mike Hummel, um, and I'm drawing a blank on what her name is. I'm sorry, Crystal, someone Rose, no Crystal. I forgot. I apologize. They are amazing people. Working with them
Yep.
has been incredible. Thank you, Office
I
Dog.
forgot to mention, they gave me a prototype of a game which I have been playing insanely since I got back home. And I can't really mention what it is, but if I had to rate it from a scale of 1 to 3, it is a solid 3, a real royalty game, king of the crop. It is a
What?
fantastic game.
Why are you rating it on a scale of 1 to 3?
So
Is
what
that
else
it?
you been doing?
I don't know, but that's correct. Anyway, um, so a little bit about Gen Con. The experience there for me was amazing. Again, I took meetings for that I just mentioned for myself, and then for Play to Z, representing them in various ways. Um, uh, Getting to see all the people, the fans, people who know me and Corey and Ignacy, the show, just know me from publishing, coming up to me, and everybody who did, who engaged me for more than like a second, I gave them a little bit of a little gift, which I'm now showing on camera, uh, a co-branded Play 2Z slash the Podfather of Gaming vinyl coaster. This is kind of I'm just loving these little things. So you got to talk to me when I'm at a convention. You're going to get something cool that you'll leave on your game table because it's very cool as you and think about me as you're drinking your beer, coffee, sodas, or whatever. It was a great experience. Everything about it was amazing. It's so well run. I know Corey has nothing to do actually with any of that, but seriously, it really continues to be a yardstick for how well you can run something that has 70 plus thousand people. We'll get to the stats in just a little while. I'm here now at home for about a week and a half. I'm going to be taking a short yet very interesting cruise next week with Jeff Anderson, right? He runs my cruise, the
Wow.
Podfather of Gaming Cruise. He runs all the BGG at sea, and he runs his own branded Captain Quick's Gaming Adventures cruises. And we're taking it on the Star of the Seas, the newest and largest ship in the world. So he's a travel agent now, and he got invited to go on this preview cruise, 3 night preview cruise. His wife Christine couldn't go. So I'm going with him. He's asked me to go with him. I told him I will cuddle with him if that's mandatory to be on this ship because it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'll report back to you on that. Next week after that, I'm gonna 2 weeks from 2 days ago, I'll be back in New Jersey to see mom again, trying to get up there a lot. And then after that, the Dice Tower Retreat in Orlando, Florida. What else? Oh, I want to make one nice shout out to Jeff Knapp. Jeff is a great guy. I know him from the Dice Tower Retreat and other things. He has his own YouTube channel. It's called Tabletop Toolbox. It's dedicated to tabletop games and tabletop gamers. He does unboxings, game reviews, crowdfunding previews, as well as a weekly Ratchet variety show where he invites you, the audience, to weigh in on a unique topic each week. So really check him out on youtube.com/tabletoptoolbox.com. Very interesting show. He gets the kids involved. It's really really nice. He's trying to grow his channel, but he's a great guy. We hung out a lot at Gen Con this year. Check him out. He thinks he knows a lot about cars. He doesn't. So I'm the official knowledge base of all things cars.
Really?
Jeff's a great. He used to own a Corvette. He doesn't own one anymore. So we tease each
I
other.
used to own Corvettes
Uh,
too.
yeah, well, you don't now. You got to go buy one. All right. That is all. Let's get to the event deck. All right, so the first thing is some Gen Con info and stats, the hard stats. Gen Con set a record again for 2025, a record breaking sold out crowd of almost 72,000 attendees and more than 575 exhibiting companies. Also, on the bigger scale, a bigger scheme of things, the convention generated an estimated economic impact of more than $82 million for local businesses, and that's great. I mean, we think about it only really from our selfish, you know, publishing side or our gaming side. We have a good time, but it's also the largest single convention held in a fairly substantial USA city, Indianapolis. Great times were had.
It was so amazing. I'm still just overwhelmed by how much fun it was, how well it went.
Excellent, excellent. Um, Continuing on from there, then you know what, we probably should give a little bit of talk about like things that we did see specifically. Were there any specific games? I want to talk about maybe a couple of things just briefly. I mean, Corey, do you have anything you want to mention? Things you did that were not the business side.
Oh
All
man.
right.
I mean, almost everything that I did was social. I didn't actually play any games at Gen Con. I didn't even demo any games at Gen Con. I went from booth to booth, visited friends, and talked about the cool things that were there, the cool things that were
Yeah.
going on. So I'm at a loss
Okay.
because there were so many games I looked
Yeah.
at.
So I'll mention a couple. First of all, I got you into like a lot of the parties that you were like talking about. So, I
Uh-huh.
want to make sure that the Podfather Gaming actually sponsored with a bunch of other people uh a party there, and I invited Corey. It's a great one that gets done every year. And that's where one of the places that we were hanging out with Carol. Yes, it's called the French Party. And why is it? It's lost in antiquity why it's called that. Corey was just showing the little badge there. I got to play a prototype for the Game Makers coming up from
Oh, I
Bezier
played
Game.
that. I played it at Gathering, loved it. Oh
Yeah.
man, it's good.
You basically are taking on the role of the manufacturer of the games. You're like Ludofact or Watts Games out in China. You're trying to create the games in the most efficient manner. So you're like a publisher slash the manufacturer. You're dealing, I guess, with the manufacturer and
Yeah,
getting games. And in the game, it has all of the artwork from all the games we know and love. There's a Terraforming Mars card. There's a so
there's
you
hundreds and hundreds
yeah
of
they
real games with
yeah
the real artwork.
they licensed the box covers to do that. I don't know what kind of deal they made with everybody, but it's a very cool thing.
And let me
Um,
say, Game Makers is by Ben Rossett, who's a good friend. And Ben also did Fromage, Search for Planet X. He's got a laundry list of fantastic games behind him.
Absolutely. I did one of the things I did a lot of. I did more events, like ticketed
Yeah.
events than I've ever done before. And the funny thing was, they were all around role playing.
Ah,
Paula and I sat in on several sessions about how to be a better GM, like GM 101, GM 201, world building, how to integrate combat. Just because literally I want, I'm obviously a very big role player. I love role playing. I've been doing it forever. And I want to simply try out, actually doing some GMing at some point in the
yeah.
hopefully near future. So that was good. So people who don't take advantage of some of that, I highly recommend doing it. Ah,
Well,
we
let me
we
throw out
yeah,
there,
go.
this might be the same one you're leading into. You got me into a play of Sanctuary,
That's right.
which is the follow-up to Arc Nova. It's actually an Arc Nova game, a little lighter, a little quicker. It was incredible. I really enjoyed it. And to be totally honest, full transparency, I knew about the game and wasn't excited about it.
And
I
and then
and I was so surprised. It was so well done. So Sanctuary and Ark Nova game, I really, really liked it.
yeah, that was great. Yeah, I got, I'm on that press list. Because I get a press badge to Gen Con and Origins, a couple of things. And I went to a bunch of events, and one of them I was invited to was the capstone slash Fjorlandspieler event to preview Sanctuary. You're playing Arc Nova in a very different way, tile laying, but not the tile laying that you kind of do in the real game. You literally have hex tiles, and you're kind of building out your zoo, and you're kind of getting synergies from different things and cards. I enjoyed it very much. I look forward to seeing the final on that one, which I believe comes out at Essen. So that's very
Oh,
cool.
it was gorgeous. The one we played was near final. It was
Yep.
so good.
Absolutely. Other things that I hit that I want to mention. I want to mention Free League. Free League is the independent RPG company. I went to their showcase. They continue to hit it out of the park with all their stuff. If you're a role player and you're into um, various genres of role playing in rules heavy systems, not D&D heavy, and certainly not Pathfinder heavy, but bigger systems, not the kind that you print out 2 pages and start playing. They've got something in like every genre and with lots of IPs. Of course, Corey and I are about to start a campaign or continue a campaign in the One Ring second edition. That's theirs.
Today,
Today, did you say?
tonight is we're gonna do it.
No, today
It's
today
on the
is
calendar.
today is Wednesday, dude. We're not doing it tonight. We're
Oh,
doing it next Tuesday. I'm pretty sure.
oh, I'm tired.
But we're going to be doing that. But they've got Alien, Blade Runner. They've got their own homegrown sci-fi things. It's a great shout out to them for being such a great company. They're out of Sweden and really nice people too.
They're super nice.
And a really big shout out, a really really maybe the biggest shout out that I can possibly give is to my buddy Caleb Wiles. Caleb Wiles does magic for a cause. Caleb is a professional magician that makes no money doing magic. That's very interesting. All the money that he takes in goes to charity, goes to children's charities, which is wonderful. And I got a chance to hang out with him. Of course, he had to do close-up magic right in front of me to blow my mind. And then I went to see his Gen Con show over at the JW Marriott, and that show was for 400 people. Everyone paid a fee to get in, and 100% of that revenue goes directly to charity. He is absolutely astonishing. Magic and comedy, right? Because they kind of go hand in hand as you're doing it. So big shout out. Thank you, Caleb, for doing that.
That's amazing.
And he's a big friend of the show. And if you ever get a chance to see him at one of the major conventions, he does stuff at Origins, he does stuff at Gen Con. Excellent. All right, let's move on to some actual news.
The color
Move
theory here.
color theory. Corey, what's going on with blue, orange, and
Yeah.
yellow?
So blue, orange, and yellow have partnered, and it's just amazing that these two color companies are forming the United Colors of Board
It's
Games.
pretty funny.
And they formed a partnership to distribute yellow games within the United States. This is yellow, Iello, who everybody argues about how to pronounce it,
It
but
is pronounced yellow. I've heard
it's
this
yellow.
directly from them. Yellow, but it's
Yep.
Iello. French
So
company.
Yellow has a little bit of a history. There used to be two companies. Yellow is a French company, like you just said, and there was a U.S. company called Yellow US that did all of the distribution for Yellow, and that's all they did. Back in 2021, Yellow US was dissolved, so they needed a new distributor, and they've been using Flat River. And of course, Flat River is going through some problems.
Going through some
And
problems.
so this news is that Yellow will now be distributed in the US by Blue Orange Games. So that's a fantastic move.
Yeah,
Yellow has so many beautiful games, so many really clever, elegant games. And now we'll get, hopefully some more games in the US.
yeah, and I just love the fact that the way they put out that press release, they called it, it's blue orange is one company and yellow with an I is another company, and they just said blue, orange, and yellow, the united colors of board games. Some of these things you just fall into. By the way, Paula just laughed in the background. Paula, you might want to be quiet as I'm recording here, but it's just funny and lovely that they were able to put these two companies together for something like this. So it worked out very well. We have some significant merger-ish
This,
news here. Corey,
and the
go for
thing
this.
is, I'm not entirely sure whether this is a merger or not. Basically, there's been a very strong partnership between Elf Creek Games, which had all but gone bankrupt. Elf Creek had stopped production and said that they weren't sure where they were going. They were out of money. They were down to one employee. And now it's being saved, merged, acquired, something in that line by Genius Games. And Genius Games is best known for really good educational games. The high points were Genotype, Cytosis, Cellulose. Um, Really good hobby level games dealing with science themes. So this is from Board Game Wire. It says financially struggling board game publisher Elf Creek Games has brought in Genius Games founder John Covey as executive director as the company tries to stabilize and restructure in order to get its multiple unfulfilled Kickstarter campaigns out to backers. So it's not ever stated as an acquire. It's stated that the head of Genius Games, while still representing Genius Games, is now executive director for Elf Creek Games.
Right.
And there's a number of Kickstarters that looked really good. I personally had backed them and was excited about them that were in limbo. So they specifically mentioned uh, Secret Village and Santa's Workshop,
Right.
Paradox Initiative, and Atlantis Rising Monstrosities as campaigns that were sort of working, sort of not.
Yeah.
So I trust
Yeah.
Genius Games. They've taken over other things in the past and done a really good job with them.
Yeah.
And yeah, John Covey is part not only is he the founder head of Genius Games, but he also owns a financial company whose job has been to save games that were in these difficult situations.
Yeah, it sounds, I mean, from my take on this, and it's not known specifically if this is exactly true, but it sounds like he's going to run operations for them, get them to a firm footing, and then probably merge the companies together. That's what my take is, but it's with no extra
It
knowledge other than what we're,
sounds,
yeah,
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 it sounds right. But it's
right,
good news because there's some good news in limbo out there.
yeah,
We kind of knew this was going on a little bit because at previous conventions, Genius Games and John Covey were selling old Elf Creek games,
right,
and that, that was a big hint something was going on. This
right.
happened at Origins and again at Essen or Gen Con.
So one of the award shows that happen at Gen Con is the Diana Jones Award, which has a very interesting history
Oh my
that
goodness.
that we've talked about in the past. The it was supposed to be Indiana Jones, but it became Diana Jones because of the way the thing was ripped up. But that's not the important point here. The important point is that it's a very eclectic award for the board game industry because anything can be nominated. A convention can be
Yeah,
nominated. A person can be nominated. A game can be nominated. I don't know, anything that has something to do with the board game industry can be nominated. So, Corey, you were there, right there, and you witnessed the awards. What happened at the Diana Jones Awards
it's
2025?
they're always given away at Gen Con, always at the same location. And it's a really interesting, eclectic group of people. One of the things about the Diana Jones that's very interesting is all of the previous award winners are involved in nominating the next award winner.
Right.
Um, and it's been going on since 2001. It's presented annually to the person, product, company, event, movement, or concept that has, in the opinion of the committee, best demonstrated the quality of excellence in the world of hobby gaming. Uh, it has been described as the Nobel Prize of Gaming. I will put a footnote there that Diana Jones Awards is describing it as the Nobel Prize
Yeah,
of Gaming.
it's a little I
It's
don't
a
know.
little hoity-toity, but I
It
do think it's a
yeah.
really cool out there kind of award. So, without further ado, there were two winners. The 2025 Diana Jones Award was a tie. The first winner was the board game Daybreak by Matt Leacock and Matapache.
Very cool.
Daybreak, I suspect, I mean, the stated reason that Daybreak won is it is an excellent cooperative game that deals with ecological crises and climate change. And that alone should be a reason for nomination. But I suspect Daybreak was also nominated because it brought to light a lot of the issues in Palestine. Now, I'm not saying they did it the right way or the wrong way, but there was a controversy during the Spiel des Jahres Awards. Daybreak won the Kenner Spiel last year,
Hmm.
and there was controversy over Marapache uh, making a statement about Palestine, and it caused all sorts of kerfuffle. But the good thing that came out of all of it is that it brought the Palestinian crisis to light and put more people in the gaming world on it.
Right.
So that's the first winner is Daybreak. The other winner is Rose Estes, the author of the Endless Quest books. And now I don't know Rose personally, but reading the biography, what an incredible person. Rose was one of the first employees at TSR, one of the few women at the company in the early days. She wrote the first edition Endless Quest book on her own time as a pick a path introduction to D&D, a choose your own adventure type of game. I loved these books. And she managed to convince the company to publish it when they became desperate for new things to sell on their bookstore accounts. So, congratulations to both winners, Daybreak and Rose Estes, for the Diana Jones Awards 2025.
Very, very cool. Hey, Corey, very interestingly, we have not mentioned the Diamond Comics bankruptcy. So of course we have to mention now the Diamond Comics bankruptcy because
What?
it
What is
can
this
what
Diamond Comics of
what
which you speak? I
what
have
what
never heard of this.
I've never heard of this thing at all. It's out there, you know.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna go get a snack or something while you
we're gonna be
talk
very
about Diamond.
we're going to be very brief on this, everyone. And we've had people actually say to me at Gen Con, I'm like, enough of the Diamond Comics bankruptcy, but it's so significant, at least in part of the hobby world. So very briefly, it continues in force. The consigners, right? The people whose, for lack of a better word, their inventory is being held hostage at Diamond Comics and being sold, and the money taken to pay off the creditors, right? So that's the most important point of this whole thing. They've got inventory. They own the inventory, but due to bankruptcy law, that inventory is now being sold to pay creditors, not to come back to them. So they have filed another motion to insist, to ask the court to get Sparkle Pop, which is the company that now owns, that's the new name of the company, that now owns Diamond Comic Distributors and Diamond Select, to either accept the fact that they have consignment inventory, and take those contracts as part of what they bought. So this is going to be adjudicated in the bankruptcy court very soon. We don't have a date on this, but I've heard recently, and I'm going to tell you why I know this recently, that by September 1st, right? So we have, from the recording of this, we have about 3 weeks. We should hear a final, hopefully, statement on what's going to happen with this inventory, which to me is the most, of all the crap that's going on here, this is the most upsetting to me, that somebody's inventory from small companies can be stolen, taken away. It's legal, but it ain't very moral. I think that's the way to put it.
That's a good point.
Right. And just also briefly, so we've got another, this that was on ICV2 as well as the next thing. And this has to do with the fact that as of now, we have $9 million in legal and consulting fees that have come out of this. So the lawyers and the consultants are doing really good on all of this, but everybody else is getting really screwed. And it's just crappy that this is all happening, right? So we want
Yeah.
to mention that. Well, I just want to mention that. And the final thing on this is that I had a really great interview. I set it up at Gen Con with Green Ronin Publishing, right? They make role
Yeah.
playing games, and they had their inventory floored over at Diamond Comics and Select, and they were selling those to book trade. And I had a great interview with the COO, Nicole Lindroos. And we just talked it out, and where they stand and where they believe they are. And that's one of the reasons why I know September 1st could be a very key date in this entire thing. So thanks to Nicole for that. I will be posting the audio. I didn't do video, the audio of that on the YouTube channel. And hopefully that'll give you a little bit of information on what is happening and the timelines and stuff like that. Corey,
Yes, sir.
let us move directly now to strategy and tactics.
Let us.
Kevin Wardener, who's at Jercules, love
I
that name,
love it.
love it. He has a question. Up,
Oh, question
up,
for Ignacy.
question for Ignacy. So we are not going to take this question. We're gonna highlight it in red. See, this shows you how much I read these things before I get here.
We
We're
are
gonna go to.
always well prepared.
Oh, by the way, Ignacy sends everybody his regards. But he had a technical issue, couldn't make it.
Technical crisis.
Technical crisis. Chris Dupree, he's at C Dupree. In the USA, since new tariffs are being imposed in order to restart manufacturing, sort of, do you ever think if do you ever think, if ever, that domestic manufacturing will be feasible in the US? If so, when? Or will board game prices just adjust to compensate for the additional cost? This is a wildly difficult question. I guess we can
Yeah.
we can touch on it. I mean, there's no reason not to talk about it a little bit. Um, uh,
No.
the answer to your
Done.
question, at least, Chris, is that so can manufacturing end up coming back to the US in certain industries? 100% yes. In small industries, 100% no. It just can't happen. It just won't happen is a better way of putting it. Can we create injection molding facilities here, massive numbers of card plants and printing and cardboard and all? Can we do it? Of course. And Corey is playing with his pangolin. Um,
Sorry, it got too
is that
businessy and I got distracted.
is that a euphemism for something else that you're playing with? Anyway, so
Uh,
he it's not going to happen for board gaming. So either we work this out, and at 30% tariffs in China, it's tenable. After that, it starts to become untenable. So
I,
that's where I stand
it's
on
a
it.
combination of uh, we don't have the facilities to do plastics manufacture. We almost have the facilities to do cardboard manufacture. We have the ability to do card manufacture. But our costs are so much higher than anywhere else that does it because we have higher paid labor and I'd like to believe better treated labor. But the costs are just so ridiculously higher
Yeah,
in the US. I don't think any mainstream game manufacturer will
yeah.
happen here.
I mean, and again, because of the we got to tread a line. We don't go political here, but because of the ups and downs and what's it going to be? Is it going to be 30%? Is it going to be less than 30%? Is it going to be 145%? Because of all this nonsense, who's going to invest tens of millions of dollars, really, to create, a real fully fledged
Yeah.
board game manufacturing facility? Do you know the recuperation timeline on such an investment is so long, it doesn't make sense.
Yep.
If we knew the tariffs from China were going to be 150%, I'm making a dumb number up, which hopefully it never is, then somebody would start looking at it, but then it could change next week.
Let's just say at 145%, China was still competitively priced.
Think about that for a moment. It's insane the difference. So, Chris, I wish we could be more specific,
It's a
but we
really
can't.
good question. There's just
Yeah,
not a it's not a great answer.
there's
It's
no
not.
good answer right now. Ewan Lemons from Belgium. He's E1 Prime. Hey, Ewan. He's asked us questions before. When drafting and when cards are not revealed after every choice, do you keep going and leave stacks of four, three, and two cards queuing with a slower player, or do you wait until everyone has chosen a card before picking up the next pile you
I
receive from your
totally get
neighbor?
this.
Okay, I
This
was
bugs me intensely.
go
I
for it.
have strong opinions. You should wait
Oh,
for the player. You should wait for the player. Too many times I've done drafts where people are tired of waiting for someone to pick their draft, and then they keep going and it goes all the way around again. And now you're waiting on two piles for the next player. Ah,
you
it
don't like
gets
that.
messed up every time someone messes it up, and no
Well,
one knows, is this the first pile? Is this the second pile? Where are we on the draft? You just be patient. Just wait.
no, I disagree.
Ah,
I sometimes get the piles stacked up on me, not often because I'm a fast player, but often I'll stack them up and I'll just make sure that again, it's not a competitive. Most times I'm playing games with friends. It's not like okay, it gets messed up. Who cares? In a tournament is one thing. In a friendly game is another thing. I don't mind having the cards stacked up. Just be very consistent on how you place them for the next player, and then tell the player, "Will you please hurry up?" That's my opinion.
yeah.
Marco Dobranic from Croatia. He's Matto78. He says, "What do you think is the best game for play on the moon or Mars?
Oh
Thematically or
man.
regarding weight, since it's very expensive for every gram you bring there." Oh, shit, I can't wait to play Terraforming Mars on Mars when I get there in a few years. No, I'm not getting there in a few years. Um,
Yeah.
I think, I mean, generally, I think card games
Yeah,
probably will
absolutely.
be right. Any deck of cards you can play thousands of games with them.
Quite
That's one thing.
honestly, role-playing games. Role-playing games basically can be done with pencil and paper.
Well,
Um,
and even just electronically, right? Because right now, like
yeah, there's already electronics and pads and things like that up there.
I have so many books, which would be crazy to try to bring all these role playing books for whatever system for the One Ring second edition or for D&D. Tremendous amount of weight. but it costs zero weight if it's on my iPad or on the ship's computer.
Yeah.
So role-playing games would be a great idea. Congratulations on that, Corey. You got the
It's a really
perfect
interesting
answer.
topic, and I can't go into details, but I know I have a friend who was asked by Elon Musk to come up with a pen and pencil role-playing game that's cooperative, that can last for 9 months and instills a sense of camaraderie and mental well-being.
Wow. I mean, I see exactly why somebody would, well,
Yeah.
why that kind of game system would be great because that's a length of time to get to Mars, and that's what we would do for fun when we're up there. I hope that all the astronauts that are on this first ship all like role-playing games because not everybody does.
Something light, something easy. I also agree with card games. If it was me, I'd bring card games.
Yep.
And the card game I can think of that I could play over and over again that I really enjoy is Bonanza. I'd probably put that on the list.
There's
It's a
dozens of great card
really
games.
it's a really interesting question, and if you haven't gotten a chance, the book um, um, Mission Hail Mary. Such an amazingly good book by buddy Andy Weir, who wrote The Martian. Uh, and it touches on, if you're on a super long trip, how do you keep people from going insane? What do you give them to do?
Yeah, I mean it's going to be a thing. This has already been we're going on a tangent here, but it's been a thing that's been discussed, and there's been studies for long-term cohabitation.
Oh, most famously, the biosphere,
Yes, yes.
which had to be canceled early because they were beating the living crap out of each other.
You got to have the right personalities in there, but it's very interesting. This is a very interesting question on general how you're going to keep people satisfied in relatively cramped quarters. They won't be Apollo-sized ships that are going there. You can't have people that close for 9 months. It's hard enough to do it for 4 days, 3 days getting to the moon, 3 days coming back, 3 days there, something that kind of thing.
Yep,
But you might think about 9 months and you're sitting next to somebody and pooping next to no, no, no.
there's no bathroom in the Apollo.
Oh, you had to poop into a bag, and oh my, I can't
Yeah,
even. I can't even. All right, moving on. Tiago Ali de Oliveira Bueno. He is a publisher, and he's at Tiago
AOB.
AOB. My strength as an engineer lies in the mathematical underpinnings of game design. However, I have a strong impression that designers with an art background possess a distinct advantage in the publishing process. It feels like the ability to create visually striking prototypes fosters greater player interest during playtesting, which I believe translates to more thorough iteration and a higher degree of polish in the final project. I'd be interested to hear your insights on this
Wow.
impression. So what he's saying,
This is a Pandora's
let me
box.
let me let me let me let me frame this to make sure that we're on the same page because
Yep.
I bet I'm gonna have a different opinion than you. He's saying that if you come up with a visually appealing prototype, it's gonna make for better play testing. Corey, what do you think about that? So
I
write
don't
this.
think that's exactly what he's going to. I think
This
he's
that's
focusing
exactly
on,
what it says there. What do you mean it's not?
it's nothing about prototyping in here. This
Excuse
is
me.
the full process of making a really good game. It's, I think he's touching on form versus function.
I think you're
So
wrong. It says it.
it's,
All
well,
right,
I
go
mean,
ahead. Give your opinion, and I'll tell you why
the
you're wrong.
extension of this that I always ask people is, if you had two games, one of which was absolutely the most gorgeous game in the world, but horrible gameplay, and you had one that was a fantastic gameplay but looked awful, which would do better?
Do better where? In in the
In
market?
sales, in the
Okay,
market.
that's not what he's asking, Dr. Thompson.
It's this
Look at
whole thing of beauty versus good game design.
Let me answer the question. Let me because I'm going to answer it the way Tiago would like this answer. He's and you're right. There's that form and function and beauty and all that for sales. But what he is, I believe, asking, and hey, Tiago, if we get this wrong, put another question in there and we'll answer it again later. But I believe he's saying if a beautiful prototype is placed in front of playtesters, will you get better feedback versus putting something that you normally get a kind of more bland and you know the icons or whatever they're going to be and this will you get a better final product because the prototype gave playtesters a better experience, and then they can give you better feedback. And so my answer to that question is I don't think so because I think playtesting is a completely separate mental exercise where you know that the game is not going to look like
I
this.
think it's to a point. I think there is a little curve where
Okay.
if you make it the most beautiful prototype in the world, you've wasted 90% of your effort. But if you don't do anything to help the playing experience, you're hurting
Yeah.
yourself. There has to be a little bit of pretty
Yeah.
to make it an acceptable,
Mhm.
easy to digest prototype, but it does not have to be gorgeous.
Now, where I think a prettier prototype is absolutely going to help the designer is in the pitch. It does not have to be perfect. In fact, I've seen the ugliest prototypes that became the greatest games on the planet. But I always say that
Like terraforming Mars.
um, the prototype for that was not that bad as I recall. I can't remember right now what it looked like. It's
I'm
been so
just
many
giving
years.
you this
You give
because
me a little like twisting the
little
knife.
of this, because
Whatever.
terraforming Mars is known for not being the prettiest game.
Who cares? It sells and it's great. Anyway,
It
um,
does.
and
Yeah,
so when a prototype comes to the publisher for the first time, right? Like the designer is showing off the game. I always say put a little effort into that. Don't go crazy. Don't hire art because we're not going to use the art that you whatever art you do, we're not using it. And I'm going to point to Andrew Parks's games. He comes out and they look amazing. You feel the experience of his vision for the game. Now, again, we're going to redo all the artwork, right? And we're going to redo the board. We redo, but it shows you what the vision and it makes you feel like as a
sure.
publisher, like okay, I get this now because it's only a when you get pitched a game, it's a could be 15-minute
Yep.
pitch. Maybe a deep pitch might go for a half hour, a full like thing. You don't get to play it on the pitch. Go and bring it a little bit closer to something that will make it feel good for people, and then you might get the publisher more invested in it. We are going really long here, Corey, like crazy long here at the
Yeah.
47-minute mark. So let's get over
That's
right
because
now.
we love doing
We
this.
do. We really do. All right, let's get over to play testing. Corey, as usual, you've come up with the best question of all time
Of
for
course,
people.
because
Of
I
course,
am that good.
you're that good. You are that good. So tell us about the question we asked last week.
It was a fairly straightforward question. What is the longest continuous single gaming session that you have attended? And I left it open that it could be
Yes,
a longest single game, or it could be an event where you just gamed nonstop for a certain amount of time.
it was a
And
very open-ended question, but we wanted it
I
that way.
love these answers. They're so cool. Um, so Uli Blenneman, a
Oh, our
friend
buddy from
who runs
Spielworks.
Spielworks, while technically not a single session, we played Pacific War by Victory Games for several hundred hours over half a year, completed several World in Flames and Empires in Arms campaigns, each more than 100 hours, and played Wellington's Victory once 1 week, 7 hours a day. It's incredible. Just, I always forget to mention some of these incredibly detailed war games that go on for freaking ever.
Yeah, I mean,
And it's amazing when they get played.
obviously war games are going to fall into the category of like you're going to play this one game for like the whole week potentially, with enough bathroom, sleep, and food breaks. But that's definitely going to be in that kind of session. Timo Board Borodam from the Netherlands. He says a buddy of his and him had a gaming session at a local board game store. We started at 10 in the morning, and when the shop opened and played a couple of our favorite games till about 7 in the evening when we had a Disney Lorcana tournament to play. During the day, we had extra players join and go on their way, but we ended 12 hours later when the shop closed its doors. A
I
10 to
love
10
doing
play
those
session at
things.
the cafe, and we set a and we set never a record never to be broken because basically you can't. I guess he only plays at the store, and that's as long as he could have played a
You're
12-hour
limited by the
session.
store being open. Ron Graves at Buckaroo, 24-hour session for a charity fundraiser. For a single game, it would be the 12 to 14-hour range for a D&D session back we were all in university. And I remember role-playing sessions where we had 8 people crash at the dorm slash house and just play for an entire weekend.
Wow.
It's amazing times.
So we always hear about the mega civilization campaigns. Chris Holm
Yes.
at Dice Tower Con 2018, we played a single session, 22-hour mega civilization with something like 17 players. The game supports 18. They only had 17, so it's not really a good test. Just kidding. And they starting around 2 p.m. Our game host, who mind you was not also a player, was lying supine and hoarse on a side table toward the end, but he got us to the finish line. He's a hero. It was a fantastic, epic experience. I don't know why the guy, person, whoever it is, wouldn't have played if he sat there for 22
You can
hours.
play from a distance. I've
Yeah,
done that.
I, uh,
And having played multiple games with Daryl Andrews now, I also know that you can play while asleep and
yeah, he does that.
absolutely win. He falls asleep in the middle of a game and still obliterates everybody. Wake up for a second, do his turn, fall asleep.
That's
I
that's
don't know how he does it.
I cannot do
And
that.
finally, Steven Chivers at Chivo. I once taught Tzolk'in, Teotihuacan, Tekanu, and Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, all at full player counts, back to back at a game day. Started at 10 a.m., finished after 1 a.m. when the venue kicked us out. Those are big games. They are heavy games.
Yep.
And bravo for teaching every one of those back to back. My brain melts after a few
Yeah.
heavy teaches.
Got to do one more. I don't think you took this one from Aaron Pope, right? Because you have to have a Twilight
You
Imperium.
have to. That's the given
All right,
game.
Twilight Imperium with 8 players, 6 of whom were new with expansion. So how do you? So anybody out there that knows
Oh,
Twilight Imperium, you can't technically play 8 players. However, you can if you cut on a custom map. It is possible. The setup started around 7 a.m. The teach started sometime after breakfast. We started playing around noon. We called it sometime around 1 a.m., about 1/3 through the game, as I understand it. I was one of the new players. I'm glad to have a Twilight Imperium experience under my belt, but I hope to try it again sometime in the future at a smaller scale. Yes, yes, Aaron,
and I will
you
say
four
it's a
players.
regular event at my big gaming things at the house that someone at about midnight will say, "Let's start a game of Twilight Imperium."
It's insane. You don't.
It is nuts.
That is just crazy.
And
So,
they do
Cor,
it. I can't do it, but they
no,
do it.
no, and no. So, Corey, you of course, as usual, given us the next week's question. What do you have for us for
Yes.
next week?
It is a simple, classic question. What is your personal grail game? What's that one title that if you see it at a flea market, you might pee a little?
So, what is yours? Because I think maybe I just got the one in my head, but I want you to go. Mine's going to be pretty predictable. Go ahead. What is yours?
I am incredibly lucky. I don't really have a massive grail game at this point. Um, you go first because there's a Reiner Knizia game that I'm after. And I always forget the name because it's a very strange name, but it begins with a K.
So,
And I am cheating and looking it up on the computer while you do
there's
yours.
nothing wrong with that. So the only thing that really, because I have everything that I want, right? I mean, I've got my
Yeah.
War of the Ring collector's edition. Um, I have it. I have people have given me games that I talked about, like King Oil. King Oil.
Oh, that's a
I
cool one.
love that. It's a basically a kids game, but like old, not
Oh, but
kids.
so good.
And it created a genre, not that a genre that continued, but like the thing where you poke into holes on the board, and if it goes all the way down, that's bad in this game because you did not strike oil. But if it stays up, like it goes only one platter deep because there's three platters, then you've struck a gusher. It's great, etc. Um, I'm going to mention two things. I'm going to mention one for my.
What's great about King Oil, just to put it there, is there's a rod above a little oil rig, and you're talking about it falling into the hole, but it's also visually amazing because the rod that stays up high is the flowing of the oil. It's the gusher. So
Oh
it
yeah, yeah.
looks so good.
It's very cute. So I'm going to mention two things. One from my childhood that I would love to have in my collection because it was such a bad game, but so interesting. And it was called Voice of the Mummy. I have mentioned it on this show, and it
Yeah.
came with a record player. The mummy's kind of tomb. You opened it up, and it had a record, a hard plastic, small record, about say 5 inches in
Yep.
diameter. And then when you did something on the board, you would hit the button, and it would play something like "Take 3 jewels if your age is an even number." I mean, dumb things like that. Like I mean, you were collecting jewels to get to the different levels to bring them to the mummy and I don't know, kill the mummy, reward the mummy, whatever. But it was such an interesting little game, and I had so much fun with it back then. Somebody just sent me a photo of a game that they found in a an auction or something like that. And I forgot where it was, but they sent it to me on Twitter. Thank you for doing that, X or whatever we call it these days. And it was, drum roll, War of the Ring, not the current version, not the first
Yeah.
edition, not even the one that I have. The other one, I have that one that's S is it SSI or whatever that company was. It's a much more of a war game, but it has elements of the current one, the current actual game. It was a game that came out apparently with licensing issues in a bigger box with a colored, uh, you know, um, uh, cover. It almost looked like a mass market version of War of the Ring, but I had never even seen it before. Whatever reason, it escaped my thing. So, wow, to have something like that would be kind of cool. All right, Corey,
So
what's yours?
my actual grail is a tiny little card game called Kariba. And it's probably not particularly hard to find, but I have played it. I really enjoyed it. I haven't seen it in a very long time. It's a 2010 little card game by Reiner Knizia, published originally by Helvetique. And it's just a little cute little elegant card game that's right along the things that I love. Kariba.
That's amazing. I'm literally looking for this game that I just mentioned, this War of the Ring game, and I can't even see it in Board Game Geek. So I don't know what this
That's
is.
so
I gotta go.
crazy.
Oh, there it is. There it is. It's called War of the Ring: The Game of Middle Earth, 1976. If anybody has one out there and wants to like send it to me because they love me, please
I
do.
actually had it when I was a kid.
Do you really know what this game is? I'll
Yeah,
give.
I
I'll give.
had all of these weird low print run, strange publisher Lord of the Rings games.
Yeah.
I had a Hobbit game that was really, really weird. I remember the War of the Ring game you're talking about. The spaces had little instructions on them. If you land on this space, you do this. If you land on this space, you do this. And there was a space that said Boromir fights what's his name? Lurs. Boromir
War.
loses. Remove Boromir. It was just a,
Oh.
it was just this. There was nothing to do on this space. It's just like Boromir fights the bad guy. Boromir loses. Lose
Yeah.
Boromir. It's like, oh,
War
no.
of the Ring: The Game of Middle Earth, 1976. Tom Drake is the designer. I have no idea about this game. I didn't know it existed. I just so 2 to 4 players, and it came out by Fantasy Games Unlimited. I'm gonna find this game somehow. Anyway, where Corey, we gotta go. we
We
just
do.
we
It's
gotta
been
go.
so long.
We gotta go. But this is good, man. Hopefully, people are going to hear us and they're going to go to the guild, find the playtesting thread, and answer our question to you for their ultimate Grail game. In the meantime, the final scoring. Thank you for listening and help us spread the word about this podcast by telling your friends to download Board Games Insider wherever they like to get their podcasts or watch Board Games Insider on the Podfather of Gaming YouTube channel. Do you want to be part of this podcast? You can. Go over to our guild on Board Game Geek, become a member, ask us questions for our strategy and tactics segment, answer our question to you from our playtesting segment. I know you can do it. Just do it. Interact with us on social media. The handle is the same all over Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and YouTube. It's at Board Games Insider, Portal Games US, Podfather Gaming, Dice Tower Dish, Play2Z Games, Above Board TV. Follow us on the social media of your choice. Special call out to those YouTube channels, which are the bread and butter of the whole thing. Portal Games Studio, the Podfather of Gaming, and Above Board TV. We would love to see you in person at an upcoming convention. I guess for me, that would be the Dice Tower Retreat. So hopefully I'll see some of you there. I'll have some
Yeah.
gifts, hopefully, to give out.
And
Corey, what's your next?
breaking news, I'm gonna make it to QsCon in Syracuse, which is September 18th to the 21st.
Really?
Yes,
18th
sir.
to the 21st, huh?
Yes,
I hope you're still
sir.
coming to a certain thing in
I will
Florida.
be visiting you right before that.
Ah, very, very nice. Very, very cool.
So I'm making it one big trip, you
And
know.
the only reason I can't go to that, because I've been invited many times by the Googs, Mike Gugliano, is because
Yes,
I'll be out in Vegas at the World Series of Board Gaming. Obviously, that's very
absolutely.
important to be there. Um, and if you find us at any of these conventions, guys, please come up to us, talk to us. We really love that. Board Games Insider, professionally edited by Jake Thompson. Thank you, Jake, for being part of the team. The great voice you hear doing the intro, the outro, the in-between segments is that of Ray Greenlee, and he can be contacted to do your voiceover work at raygreenleevoiceover.com. Corey, I'm looking at the time since I pushed the record button on the audio. We
Yep.
are 1 hour and 2 minutes, almost to the second. I'm hoping Jake will remove a few seconds here and there to keep us under an hour. But do you have anything you want to mention before we?
I just wanted to say that last time Jake did the editing, and we talked about the best food to have during a board game session. And apparently, we talked so highly of sushi, he had to immediately order sushi as soon as he was done editing.
So,
So
so we made Jake hungry.
he yelled at me about that.
I look forward to meeting Jake because I don't think I've ever met him, but hopefully he'll. Is
Yeah,
he a gamer, by the way? Is there some,
absolutely a gamer.
oh, well, I hope he's going to be out at the next thing that you invite me to, which I haven't been invited in about 2 years. I
Sure,
hope that happens.
it'll happen.
Okay. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully you don't mind that we went a little long, but I think we had a good time. I hope you had a good time.
Gen
Take
Con, it's
care.
a good excuse.
It is. It is.
See y'all later.
Bye bye, everybody.